Welcome back to another issue of Daddy Issues. This episode is going to be about birthdays,
holidays, how to handle
schedules.
it. Yeah, what to do, what not to do, because I've done a lot of the not to do stuff.
Yep. So when I'm brand new to it, so this is like our second year, I think, with my kids' holidays, Christmases, birthdays, stuff like that. So, yeah.
I was just, I think you got to go into it just like, some divorces are very different.
Well, how was your setup? How was your...
See, I was very loose about everything.
Yeah.
My brain was fried. Like, after all the years I was with my ex, with the kids, I guess everybody's the same way, right? You're not thinking straight. So, and that's, again, having some advice from somebody who's been through it is helpful, or an attorney. But everything was loose for me. Like, I would be like, our agreement was like, I traveled a lot, so there was some flexibility there. So that flexibility turned into what she thought would be flexibility with holidays.
Yeah.
And really what ended up, and I would kind of be lax about it. Like, I don't want to be a dick, but I wanted to see them on the holidays. But as it turned out, I never really made plans. Like, we kind of stuck to the agreement, and I could have enforced it, but I didn't. And so I would end up like seeing the kids for like an hour on a holiday.
Yeah.
That's it. And I don't have any, and I have nobody here.
Yeah.
I have nobody here, right? I have no family. My family's not here. Yeah. So it's like, it's like I didn't really have an opportunity to see them on a lot of the holidays. Thanksgiving or Christmas were the big ones for us, right? And then whatever. And then, even on birthdays, it was always like, well, she got to do birthday dinner with them, and I'd have to wait till the next day or whatever. You know what I mean?
To celebrate. Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't get that.
Yeah, I mean, I think in my situation now, I'm like, our agreement is we share birthdays. So if a birthday comes up, if another parent is throwing a party, you have to invite the other parent's family or the other
right.
the whole thing. So, we've tried it. It worked in the beginning because we had to. Now it's kind of just like, you do your thing, I'll do my thing, because it's just getting, no one's following the rules. So it's like,
right.
It's kind of bullshit. But yeah, so we still have to go back for a final and figure out our plan. But I'm hoping like we can my kids aren't that confused anymore. They're
right.
not sitting there like, but I want to have this with mommy, or I want to have this with daddy. They don't really, They're just like, oh, well, are we with mommy? Are we with daddy? They don't really care. So.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, this birthday really pissed me off because my oldest was turning 10, and we're going up to the apartment. I had them I had them Thursday, Friday, and then they went back with their mom for the Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, whatever. So I have them. I'm talking to my oldest about her birthday, and my youngest randomly goes, "Remember what mommy said? Like, don't say anything to you. Remember what mommy said?" And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then, my oldest told me, and she's like, "Yeah, mommy said not to tell you about my birthday because you didn't invite her last year, so she's not going to invite you this year." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, It just blew my mind. And I'm like, "We did invite mommy last year. She just decided not to come." And what she does sometimes is to punish the girls. And this is the whole like mental abuse thing that I get so frustrated about. Because it's in my opinion, it's abuse. You're abusing the
there's
children
no question.
mentally.
You can't play the kids against
But
each other.
we went on 2 vacations with the girls, and what she'll do is she won't call, she won't contact them until we come back, until they're back with her. So in the girls' mind is, why is mommy mad at us? Is she punishing? That's her way of punishing them, but in a low key way, like, well, how can I get in trouble for not calling them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
it's all mind games.
Crazy thing is, we recorded it. It happened two different vacations. We went to Florida and we went somewhere else. I think New York. And same thing. She'd be calling, and then as soon as we went on vacation, nothing. And it's like, and then we called her, and it was, my kids were crying, like, "Mommy, why aren't you talking to me? Can you please call me back? Blah blah blah." Nothing.
Oof.
So it's like, there's no way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you're not
purposely doing that.
You're not. You're doing the kids a disservice. You're you can't. It is what it is. You can't be. That's the thing. At some point, you got to move on. You gotta treat your kids are that's the most important thing in the whole thing, right? It doesn't matter if she doesn't like you or whatever.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care how you treat me. I don't care. but
Right.
you're affecting
Yeah.
the girls, and that's when they get older. It's
Oh,
gonna
it scars
mess
them.
up,
It'll
right?
yeah. There's so much psychological damage
how
that,
do
and
you
I
not
worry
see
about stuff that I did because I wasn't perfect.
Right.
And I messed up a lot, I definitely did, but it's hard to control, what I went through, the anger I had was just immeasurable. So, but I think that, the more structured your divorce is, sometimes that's better. You know what I mean? It depends on who you're dealing with, right? Like I should have had a lot more things structured.
Right.
Because but then on the other hand, I needed some flexibility sometimes, and then it was like, okay, but
see,
then that flexibility.
I'm just like you. I'm super laid back.
Yeah.
If she wanted the girls this time, like cool,
Right.
like you do that, and then I get my time. Like I wish we didn't go to court. I wish we didn't do any of that. But like I'm very, very flexible and all that. So I'm like, why are we going through this the way we're going through
Right.
it? Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
But man, I get super frustrated about it.
Well, they would say, attorneys will say, as good paper makes good friends. And I think good paper makes good divorces too, having been there. And, I was so just lax on even, at the time, I didn't have the money to have an attorney. So I went through everything myself. We had one agreement that was with a mediator, which she said, oh, I'm going to have my attorney adjust
And
it.
so she had an attorney.
And then
You
she had
didn't have
her attorney
Right.
adjust it.
Yeah.
And it was all towards her. Everything I got. I mean, again,
Yeah. with
my
the
story
house
will
and
be
all that.
my story will come out more soon. Yeah, I mean, I essentially she kind of lulled me to sleep with my comic book that that's all I was focused on. You know what I mean? So it was like she just used that to her advantage, and whatever she got what she wanted, and hopefully that will never come up again. So.
Yeah.
But no, I just think it's got to be structured, and you got to sometimes, in those instances, the more you have written down, the more you stick to it, the better it is. Even though sometimes it might not be the most convenient for you,
Right.
but it's convenient for the kids.
Yeah.
So the kids know if they were like, all right, well, this birthday, Tia's birthday, we're going to be, in the morning, and then the next
I
birthday.
just think the last couple birthdays we've had, because I have two kids, it's been so like, they're so like manipulative, like they'll tell me last minute, or they'll say the first birthday we did was just the most awkward thing ever, because it was all her family, she set it up, she did everything, didn't tell me about anything.
Yeah.
And I showed up and I'm just like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be here, but obviously I want to be here for my kids, but like,
Right.
it was terrible. So I was like, I would just rather do my own thing and she does her own thing, and that's how we do it from now on, because she's not following the plan.
Right.
So what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I mean, and sometimes you have to, I guess you just have to be flexible so there's no strain on the kids.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing whatever you're doing, if there's less stress on the kids, then whatever.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
I mean, it's been, when the girls are with me, I'm like, they've been so good with my woman, and like they treat her, they hugs, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
last time in the beginning, my oldest wouldn't even get out of the car when
Right.
we were at her house. So
Right.
it's like, it's been an amazing like turnaround, which is great, but we're still getting shit from the other side. You know what I mean? Like on their time.
But
So
it's still
just like,
fresh. It's not that, like mine's old now, you know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
Like at some point, you won't be, there's always going to be something, but it won't be
Right.
as magnified as
Yeah.
it is now, because
Yeah.
it'll die out, and she'll
Can't wait till it dies out.
she'll move on, and she'll do her thing. You know
But
what I mean?
the weird thing is, like, people say that. Oh, and then so the whole birthday thing is, I call her out on it. I text her and she's like, instead of assuming I did something, why don't you ask? And I'm like, well, the only reason why I assumed is because my child literally said that word for word, and where else would she get that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, she's 7 and 10.
Yeah, I mean,
They wouldn't just make something up like that.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm getting it from their words, and yet you're still telling me like you didn't do anything.
right.
It's like,
Yeah.
I just don't understand what are you not thinking about? Like, you're not thinking about the girls.
No, clearly not. No, you're not. You're at this
You're
point.
thinking about yourself.
And like I said, I think that for her and for many women and guys, there's fresh wounds, and they're still not gonna think straight. They're gonna do dumb shit. Like I did dumb shit. Like I can't say I didn't do dumb shit. Like I did some crazy shit. Because I was unhappy. I
Well, I
was
remember you
hurt.
told me that eventually, like, sometimes you told them, didn't you, like, blow up at them? And
I told them once. I never
Right.
told them. It took me like about 6 years or 7 maybe that I just flipped out, and I was like,
dude, oh my God, I was right there when that birthday thing happened.
Yeah.
I almost lost. I was like, oh my God, like I've
Yeah.
never once said a bad thing about
Yeah.
your mother.
And
I've
that's
never once
smart.
and I almost was like, she did this. Like
Yeah.
I almost just lost. I'm like, what do you like? How are you guys keeping?
see, mine were a
lying to
little
me?
older than that though, so you know what I
Oh,
mean. Like
man.
I felt like I kind of was like,
Well, I knew it wouldn't get me anywhere.
yeah,
you know? It
yeah,
just made me
right.
look like a bad guy, so I just sucked it up. And I was like, you know,
by that
that's not
point, for
okay.
me, they kind of knew. They knew. They did in the back of their mind. They knew what had happened.
Yeah.
Even though I never said anything for the longest time, it killed me not to say anything.
It's killing me. Yeah.
I never said that. I said other things which I shouldn't have said. You know, I mean, in general, I think she's a good mom. So, I mean, we don't get along, and
Right.
there's certain things I don't like the way she parents, which is why we're not divorced, or why we're divorced. You know, so it's like, but I think that all of those things like this, you know, holidays and birthdays and things that give you anxiety and stress, like eventually it will go away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would say that's the hardest part, I think, is
Gotta wait.
both well, you definitely have to wait, but both parents parent differently. So
Absolutely.
when you're separated, it's even more of a they're going to do their thing, you're going to do your
Absolutely.
thing, and you have no control over it.
You have zero. Yeah, you just got to let them do the best you can when they're with you.
Right.
You be you, and they'll love you for you. You know what I mean? They're gonna love her for her too, no matter how she does it.
Yeah.
Even if in your eyes it's not right. I mean, like I said, there's no. She's always going to be their mother.
Right,
You're always
exactly.
going to be their father. So it's like the best thing you can do is be who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know I was a fucking disaster. Like I'm sure my kids are. I'm sure I scarred them plenty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, for me, it's just, and again, we're in a small town. We're in the same town, so you and me, and it's like being in that same town. It's difficult. Like I think so. I always kind of like I thought I wanted to move away, and I think it would have been some insulation. But here it was almost like you're either on my team or you're on her team.
That's how it feels like, right? They're picking sides almost.
You're picking sides, and everybody does.
Yep.
You know, and it actually, you know, my true friends who can basically are people who have some morals and they're like, this is right and wrong.
Yeah.
They are still my friends.
Yeah.
Those other people who kind of buy into her story
Right.
are her friends.
Yeah.
You know, and there were some people that were like that I thought would have been more my friends than hers, and they're not anymore. You know what I mean? So like I think the small town thing doesn't help. Like if we lived in a big city,
Right. You wouldn't even.
you wouldn't think it would be a lot less amplified. You know what I mean? Because not everybody would know. Like everybody around here knows.
Yeah.
You know, they know you, they know your girl, they know me, they know my ex. It's like they know my kids. It's like that's a small town. That's just definitely I think it's a disadvantage going through a divorce in a small town.
Yeah. The one thing that I'm happy about, and I will always be able to say so far up till now, is kind of how you were like, you know, you scarred your kids. I've never said a mean or bad thing about their mom. So like so far, they'll never look back and be like, well, you told us to lie to mommy, or you told us this. Never. So
No,
like,
you can
I'm
tell
on
you.
a good path.
Your girls love you. There's no question about that. You can see it.
It's just frustrating when they sit there and like they think it's okay to lie about something like that. And I told my oldest, I'm like, you only turned 10 once. Like,
Right.
you know, if you don't want me there, I won't come. But
Right.
for you, like that doesn't make sense to me. I've never said anything
Right.
mean about your mom. I've never told you to lie. So it's just like,
Yeah.
I just don't know where they get it.
I think
That's crazy.
well, you know where they're getting it, but I think as a
Right.
parent, you gotta do the best you can.
I'm just surprised my kids aren't like, why would I not tell daddy? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and maybe
you know,
they were, but maybe they're
Right.
afraid of their mom. Like my kids
Right, yeah.
are deathly afraid of their mother still. Like she runs the show.
Yeah, right.
Like they don't.
She does. Yeah, she does.
Finally, like I said, and I could see a little bit of, you know, between my oldest and her, you know, from what my daughter told me, it's like I can see she's starting to stand up a little bit now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, I think that again, it's just a matter of doing what's right for you, or the way you're going to do things, and you've done things the right way.
Yeah.
So just keep doing what you're doing, you know. And I think that other people just have a plan, stick to the plan. It'll make your life a lot easier. You know, you don't want anxiety around their birthdays. You don't want any anxiety for them around their birthday. Like they shouldn't worry about who am I going to see, who am I not going to see. That's
Exactly.
for
Yeah.
them. That's horrible.
Yeah.
You know, they should know that I'm going to see mommy in the morning or daddy in the afternoon or whatever it is, or they're both going to come to the party. If you can't get along to go to the party, then you just split the day.
Right.
You know, because I don't even walk. I'm not even allowed to walk into the house that I paid for 20 years. I paid that mortgage, and I have not. I've walked in, I think, once in the last 10 years. Once.
Yeah.
Once I got my shit out, she's like, "You're not welcome here."
That's crazy.
which is crazy because you've been in there. That was my house,
Yeah.
you know. So, but I think just having a plan and sticking to it, and basically holidays. Like I said, I always get screwed on holidays, so I'm kind of used to it. But as they get older, I think.
See, holidays is another tough one because it's like, I think Thanksgiving. I mean, for now we've been splitting it. 1 year it got messed up where like I saw them for an hour, like she dropped them off for an hour, and then I had to bring them back. So I was like, how did that work?
Right.
But it was something weird. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just tough.
Yeah.
It's
No.
super tough when you have to like either split holidays or every year is with you or with mom. So it's like we're still trying to figure that out in our parenting plan. Right now, I think everything's split.
Right.
But it's like if something lands on your weekend, but then they're with her for the holiday, like it just gets all like
Yeah, no, I think the holidays got to be kind of a separate thing. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of like, it's weird because even I think if I have, for example, I have my son on his birthday,
Yep.
I still don't normally get to have him for birthday dinner. Like she just does her family thing. Like her mom and everybody else converges on them.
Yeah.
And I don't get him. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's Monday night. It's my night. Well, it's his birthday though. So I'm like, okay,
Right.
what's that mean? Why don't I get him?
Exactly. What's that?
You know, I mean, it's and again, it's whatever. It's
The
just
good
the way
thing
it
with
is,
you
but
is like your kids are
They're
much
getting older,
now,
yeah.
so it's like you only have a little bit more of this, and then that's it.
not that much longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy.
And child support.
That's right. Not much longer on that. Not much longer than that. So, but
See, I filed for a thing on mine, and I'm like, it's funny because when you stop paying, she somehow got 2 more jobs. It's
Right.
Like you couldn't have done that in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I don't want to bash on that, but
No,
that
yeah.
just surprised me because I was
Yeah.
like, why didn't you do that in the beginning instead of
right.
I
I know. I mean, I had a similar situation, which I won't get into, but I think that's, like I said, what we were talking about today. I think that the most important thing is just, have a plan. Have a plan, and in the back of your mind, it might not be convenient for you as a parent, but make it convenient for your kids.
Yeah.
And no stress for them, no anxiety. It shouldn't be any, particularly on birthdays and holidays. I mean, for them as a kid, birthdays and holidays are magic.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
It's like Christmas is magic. You don't want to fuck that up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter what.
See,
Even
and we had this year we had a great Christmas. I had them waking up, and then I brought them over there, and they got to play with their friends in the neighborhood and like do their thing with their mom, and like I was
Right.
cool with it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like I understand, like, because I think we did it last year that way. If they're with me, then they'll go to their mom afterwards. Because
right.
then when they open their presents there, because they have all the neighborhood friends there, they can just go
Right.
play. And I'm like, I'm cool with that. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
yeah.
that works for us.
Yeah, exactly.
So
No, I mean, like I said, I think it's, this was a good topic. Hopefully people will enjoy the podcast and learn from it for sure,
yeah, we've been slacking on some episodes.
Yeah,
But,
so we're trying to come back, making a comeback.
yeah.
So
But word.
that's all I got.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I just kind of want to hear. I don't know if people leave comments in the bottom or something, but let us know kind of how maybe your holiday situation is. If it's different from me and him. I mean, me and Skip it's similar, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Our situation. So, but yeah. So there's 2 sides to every story. This is our side. And, we're out. All right. Peace.
Listen, you can't hold me down. You can't hold me down. You can't hold me down. You